What on earth do streamers do when they stream Final Fantasy XIV? This is a series I started on the channel where we talk about what on earth you might be seeing on streamers' streams when you watch them stream 14, because there's all sorts of weird content in this game and you might just not know about what a lot of it is. This time, crafting and gathering. So you don't know about crafting and gathering. Well, let's just talk about the basic idea behind it at first. There are Disciples of War and Magic. These are your classic jobs inside of 14. This is what you're probably used to playing. There's also Disciples of Hand, which is your crafters, and Disciples of Land, which is your gatherer. Crafters can craft all sorts of things in this game, from cosmetic items for both your character's glamour as well as housing, to being able to make end-game armor that you use for progression rating, as well as end-game food and potions, which is also for rating. Disciples of the Land are the things that will gather all the materials you need for that for the most part. So what will you see crafters and gatherers be doing? Well, you'll see them, spoiler alert, crafting and gathering. Gathering typically involves gathering the items that you need from random nodes out in the world. And crafting is using all those items to craft whatever you so choose to craft. You can craft lots of stuff in this game, from end-game food as well as end-game armor. There we go, I have to find the right tab. As well as end-game armor and weapons and things of the like. To housing items. To collectibles and custom deliveries, which are things you use for scripts, which is something we'll get to in a minute. As well as just standard recipes, which if you do all of throughout your crafting logs, there are some achievements tied to those, which are very, very intense. For example, there is achievements for crafting, say, 10,000 high-quality items for a title, as well as getting all of the Savoring the Realm achievements, which is synthesize a bunch of items across all of your things. You might just see people working on side achievements when they're crafting and gathering. It's fairly open-ended as to what they will particularly be doing, so we're just going to cover a few things that are much more common, including weekly custom deliveries that you have access to, collectibles, which are things you can farm out and do all the time, and tribal quests, which I will warn you, spoilers for the tribal quests, because of the area they are in is an endgame area from Endwalker. You've been warned. Custom deliveries are a weekly series of turn-ins that you can do, that you'll often see people doing. You get to turn in 12 things a week, 6 total per person that you can turn it into, and as you can see, there are lots of different people that you can turn it into. Some of them will have a thing that says bonus here, meaning you get more rewards. What rewards do you get? Well, you get scripts, you get a bunch of gil, and you get a satisfaction ranking if they are not already maxed out. Fairly straightforward system. It's just a weekly thing that you'll see people do on a regular basis. Typically only takes like 20-30 minutes max if they know what they're doing. Actually, probably won't take more than 15 if they know what they're doing, honestly. But it's something you might see them doing. Now, scripts. Let's talk about scripts. I'm going to teleport to where you typically will be using said scripts, and I will talk about what you use them for as we go there. Scripts are used for buying certain items that are used for crafting in general. Typically used for crafting certain end-game recipes, master level recipes, and things of the like. And you can get scripts from doing those custom deliveries and from collectibles. Let's look at the scripts first. So scripts, there are 2 different types of scripts. As you can see, there are white and purple at the moment. Those change every once in a while. And as you can see, there's a bunch of these old things that are all for white scripts, but the current highest level stuff is only ever going to be for whatever the highest level script is. Talk to this person, you turn them in, you can buy all sorts of stuff. There's way too much stuff to talk about, but that's the gist of it. There's also collectibles. Collectibles are random, not random, sorry, but they are things that you can turn in unlimited. Like, you can turn them in an unlimited number of times to be able to get essentially an unlimited number of scripts. The only thing that's required is that you have to be able to craft them. So you either buy the items that you need to craft them off the board or go gather them yourself. There's also gathering collectibles, which are typically things that are based on timed nodes. Timed nodes are a thing where something will only spawn every so many minutes of real time, that are typically done by doing the in-game Eorzea time clock, which is, I forgot exactly how it is, but it's like every 2 to 3 seconds is a minute of Eorzea time or something like that. And every 2 hours of Eorzea time is a different window for a different collectible item. The same thing applies to fishing, for example. It is much more of a thing for fishers that... Oops, sorry, wrong menu. much more of a thing for fishers, that there are certain fish that you can only catch in certain windows. So certain days and certain times of day, there will be certain fish available for collecting purposes. This is your hardcore spoiler warning. This is an endgame area from Endwalker. Don't watch this part of the video if you haven't beat Endwalker already, because I'm talking about a tribal quest that takes place inside of an endgame area in Endwalker. You've been warned. Alright, so there's also tribal dailies. So for example, inside of Ultima Thule at the moment, there's the Omicron tribal dailies, which are things that you will go do on the regular. They will give you 3 things. They give you experience for your jobs, they give you gil, they give you a token, and then they give you reputation. The reputation ranks up, say, the vending unit here, which allows you to buy more stuff, including stuff like triple triad cards, minions, mounts, tabletop items, and a bunch of materia. In this case, gathering materia, because this is a gathering tribal quest. There will be a crafting tribal set of people in the near future, I believe. I believe we are getting one next full patch, but I could be incorrect. I don't remember exactly if they said it was 6.3 or 6.35 or something like that. I forgot the timing, but we will be getting a crafting one soon. This is another thing that you'll probably see people doing. They'll walk up, they'll pick up their thing, they'll hit accept, and then they'll fly around this area going and gathering whatever the quest says for them to gather. Often leads to cool collectible items, like this cute little mount that electrifies stuff. Not literally, it doesn't actually do anything. It's just a visual effect, but it still looks really cool, doesn't it? Now I'll end this by saying this wasn't really supposed to be like an in-depth guide to crafting and gathering. This is just like a attempted helpful series of, hey, this is just like a basic idea of what you might be seeing people doing. If you see people turning stuff into those vendors or buying stuff from those vendors, they might be dealing in scripts. If you see them constantly opening up this menu and checking on the custom deliveries, they're doing their custom deliveries for scripts and XP and stuff. You see them wandering around the map and picking up stuff from random nodes on the ground, they're gathering. You see them sitting still in the middle of some crazy animation, they're crafting. Like I said, it's just supposed to be like a general, like, hey, here's some ideas of what you might be running into if you're new to the game, and you're not really sure what you're looking at. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Like the video if you liked it, comment to talk about stuff in the video if nothing else helps me and the algorithm out, and subscribe if you want to see more content on the channel. Either way, thanks for hanging out and watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.